Hey guys, Pat here, and in this video we're talking about one of Asus's wired/wireless mice. This is the ROG Spatha. A fantastic name in my opinion. It just sounds like Sparta, sounds like something you fight with. Maybe that's what they're going for. Well, here it is, the ROG Spatha. A beautiful mouse. That's like the first thing I'm going to say about this mouse. It is absolutely gorgeous. These accents and cuts and grills everywhere, they're just absolutely beautiful. And hopefully, well, I think I will, in this video, you'll get some close-ups of all the things I'm describing right now. But the design itself is really, really nice. And the first thing you might notice, it is an extremely large mouse. It fits my hand very, very well, and I even feel that it feels like a potato under the hand, not in a negative way. It just feels very, very large because it's quite curved here, it's quite wide, there's a lot of things that it has, little place for your pinky to sort of sit on, and it just fits your hand absolutely well. There is, however, a couple of things that I don't like about it, but what I will do is I will start with the things I do like about it, because there's quite a few things I really like. Apart from the design, the weight of it is, I really like heavy mice, and that is an opinion to, well, in an individual, you might like a lighter mouse, so you might like a mouse with, well, interchangeable weights, like some of the Logitech ones, but personally, I do like a heavy mouse. I like to feel that it's still there under my hand, and some people might feel that the size of the mouse could potentially hurt your hand in the long periods of gaming sessions, or just general usage, because, I mean, not everybody games, but, I mean, if you have this mouse, it's pretty obvious you might get it for gaming. The look, the ROG logo, the actual box looks like it's for gamers, but it wasn't a problem in my testing and I guess my time with it. I didn't find that I hurt in the space that I used. It actually felt a lot more comfortable than the smaller ones, because with smaller ones you have to almost crunch your hand, and this was actually quite nice and quite comfortable, especially because you laid your hand on top. Now, everybody has a different grip, you know, the claw, well, I know the claw, and I know there's a couple of other ones, the palm, and just a tight grip, or whatever you want to call it. There is different ways you hold the mouse, so your mileage may definitely vary. Now, the other thing I want to talk about is these buttons on the side. Now, personally, and that is very personal, I hate extra buttons on a mouse. I used to love it on the G500 and the G5 from the Logitech brand that had 2 buttons, and most of the time I used it for like a knife or maybe a grenade, and that was it. But after a while, I felt that it was actually a hindrance to the feeling of the mouse, and this has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 buttons. Given that these buttons press in so nicely, they do have a weird way to click them. The inside buttons are a little bit lower than the ones on the top, so when you've got a large thumb, you might actually be clicking 2 other buttons instead of the one in the middle. And of course, there's a lot of them, so you know, if it's an action moment, it might actually be hard to click. And even the one on the lowest scale here is actually really hard to click. Now, click-wise, they're really good. Like, that's, you know, I'm saying that they're really nice to click, but that's just too many of them. Well, maybe for World of Warcraft, but if you're playing World of Warcraft in 2018, I think you've got a lot more problems than just the amount of buttons on your mouse. There's 2 more buttons up here. It's kind of like a weird one, actually. It kind of clicks, but it's really hard to click. So the same clickiness that I mentioned about these buttons do not go onto this one. The top one is really hard to click, and if you do it at an angle, it does not click. Now, because my hands, or my fingers rather, go higher, it did find a little bit of trouble trying to click that top one, but the only time you should be clicking this is if you're changing your DPI. And if you're changing your DPI on the fly, I don't get it. Like, who changes DPI on the fly? I've never heard of that. Don't you train your hand, or even in first-person shooters, to sort of, I don't know, stay on that same level of sensitivity? Maybe in RTS games. I don't know, guys. Tell me in the comments why you'd want to change your DPI on the fly. Maybe when you go from game to desktop, but still, you have different settings in both games. Then we have the mouse wheel. You can click on it. Does not have left and right scroll, which is, I mean, look, not many people use it, but I did mention the MX Ergo has it, and I really did like it. And obviously it clicks, and obviously, as you can see, the logo, the buttons here, and The actual mouse wheel is RGB, so you can't get away from, well, making it look pretty. The next thing obviously is wireless and wired. We've got the USB here that plugs in, and guys, wireless is mint. Thank you very much. Finally, a company other than Logitech has created a wireless mouse that is actually really good. Mamba sucks, do not get Razer. I'm just going to put it out there. Every time I do a mouse review, I have to mention it. That wireless was the worst thing I've ever seen in my life. The 2014 or 15 or 16 version of it, whatever it was terrible, the Mamba. It looked really nice though. It felt really good in my hands, but the wireless was terrible. Now this has a charging dock, as you can see here, and finally I just absolutely love it. That is one of my favorite things about this mouse, is that charging dock. When I finish a gaming session, I just chuck it on the dock, and it's magnetic. It clips in very easily and stays on it. It doesn't just slip off if I don't put it on correctly, because there's no hooks on it. It's just magnetic and it works really, really well. And I'm really kind of surprised why a lot more companies don't do this, because, you know, when you stop a gaming session, you just kind of chuck your mouse on top of it. It makes your table look nice. It's just really nice, and you never really forget to charge it. But, you know, plugging it in and then having to leave it on charge, I don't know. I think a charging dock is really good. Now, you can obviously plug the cable in and use it as a normal mouse, like wired mouse, and it works a treat. Now, the wired actual settings here, you can have 2000 megahertz on it, but 1000 megahertz on the wireless. Now, 1000 megahertz, it's not gonna really make a huge difference. You won't notice it, and the DPI range is crazy, as per usual, thousands of thousands. And to be honest, it is just a number. Do not buy a mouse just because it has high DPI. That is not if it's good. Now, the laser itself, let's talk about that, and this kind of leads into why I don't like this mouse. There is a setting in the software. The software is pretty good, like, don't get me wrong. I mean, it's just another software that you're gonna have to install on your computer, and looks kind of quirky, ROG stuff. But that laser in here and a couple of the settings really, really irked me. So one of the things is when you install it fresh, it actually has a weird setting that aligns it into horizontal and vertical lines. And I was wondering when I first plugged it in before putting in the software, why I couldn't kind of go up to the left, kind of very almost cross vertical, as you might say, and it kept sticking to a straight line. And I thought to myself, there must be some sort of setting to it. Obviously Windows didn't really have anything, and then I installed the software and finally found it. It is a crossbar to sort of show you how much stickiness you want to go when you go left and right, and basically just sticks to a line. Like, you might move a little bit up, but it still stays on a straight line as you're going right. I don't know, this is like playing the old Doom classics or Quakes, where you can only look left and right. That's what it felt like, and it was absolutely atrocious. So what I did, I dragged that scroll thing all the way across to hopefully 0, and it felt much better, but for some reason, it was still there. I could literally move the mouse across the mouse pad to the top right hand side corner, and if I did it slowly enough, the mouse would be on the right hand middle of the screen. It was still pretty bad. And when you're gaming and you need to be super precise, you need free look. This felt like it had no free look. Now, I looked it up online. There's a few settings in the back end that you can change that makes it a bit more free and removes that sort of weird event type horizon thing, whatever. I don't think I had to do that. I don't even think most mouses require software. At the end of the day, I should just be able to set my DPI and leave it. I could uninstall the software, and you can do it with this mouse. You can do it with a lot more mouses that have the inbuilt memory. This has it, so that was good. I basically set it up, removed the software, and got on with life, because other than that setting and a few other tweaks to the DPI and the hertz, there's no reason to have mouse software at all, apart from RGB. And I mean, there's only 3 areas where it lights up. I set it as breathing, it looks nice. Up to you, match your other colors on your keyboards. But other than that, that mouse really, really pissed me off. And in all fairness, you could potentially get used to it, but I wonder why this had it, because this is a beautiful, beautiful mouse, and I mean, it feels great in the hand. It's solid. The charging base is fantastic. The wireless is fantastic. But something about that tracking just did not feel right. Somebody might say, oh, Pat, you missed a setting or you did this, but I don't know. Do I have to dig so deep to have a precise mouse? I tried playing Rainbow Six with it. That's a very precise first-person shooter game. You may have known that I've been playing that a lot lately. My G900, obviously, I do, okay on it. I tried a few other mouses. I have a mouse review coming up soon of a $12 mouse. And comparably, the tracking on the $12 mouse with just a standard red optical laser. No, it's not even, this is a red laser. It's a lot better than this. But only because of that setting, only because of that weird feeling of sticking to the line, sticking to that horizontal line or vertical line when going up, it felt really, really, really weird. So I'm sure it can be fixed in a software update, maybe even a firmware update could fix this. Let me know in the comments if you've experienced this before. So hopefully I will be able to see this mouse in a new light once somebody tells me that it can be fixed, because in my 2 weeks with it, I found it really, really annoying. I mean, it worked really well, and after a while, I got almost used to it, but there were definitely points in time where I said to myself, damn it, it was just a centimeter or a millimeter lower than it should, and I realized there was that straight horizontal line. Now, guys, thank you very much for watching this review of this beautiful mouse. Like, guys, I mean, I'm not saying don't buy it, but just be aware there's a little bit of a quirk with the setting that just makes it work a little bit weirdly, and I'm sure in software updates it's gonna get fixed. But apart from that, it's a great mouse from Asus. Apart from that, whatever that would be meaning to you, I'll leave you with that. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you guys in another video. Lots more stuff coming up, lots more stuff from Asus. Got a keyboard coming up, and well, look forward to seeing you guys again. Subscribe, like, dislike, let me know why. Let me know in the comments if you are willing to get this mouse. I mean, the base station is definitely worth it.